Good evening and welcome to this evening's first talk of mine. Friends, associates of St. Vincent's, students, ex-teachers, all those who are ex-students of any one of our Jesuit schools and have some relationship with St. Vincent's. Hello to all of you. I've been on Facebook and on YouTube for some months now, but it's only been to reach a few people, those church people who had no access to faith related church worship during the last few months because churches were closed. Hence, I restricted my Facebook friends as really I would not have enough time to be able to cope with many friends and with many ex students. The numbers would be far too great. Now, too, I may not be able to relate and to communicate with people on a one-to-one basis. But nevertheless, I thought of saying hello to everybody on this auspicious occasion. What better day than the feast day of St. Vincent de Paul, patron of St. Vincent's. In future, I'm going to use my Facebook account and my YouTube account too for motivational talks and for inspirational talks. It'll be my small contribution to the lifting up of society generally. If I am successful, even in a very small way, I shall be happy. The purpose of St. Vincent's School, after all, is to lift up society through education. It's the purpose of all our schools, of all Jesuit institutions. And if I can do this during the time of my retirement, I can do just this little extra bit with the help of the media that's so easily available these days, then why not? I said to myself. And that's why today I'm making the start. Today is also the 107th birth anniversary of Father Rudolf Schuck, former principal of St. Vincent's, Royal High School, and Jnanamata Vidyalaya Sangam near. He has done incalculable good to society by building up these three schools. He was a man of great vision, man who knew how to make his vision and his dreams become a reality. Through St. Vincent's and Loyola's, he has had monumental influence on the city of Pune. Not many of you would know that he has been my own personal mentor too, and I shall be ever grateful to him for all the tips that he gave me on how to run a school. Today, I begin with my first capsule, and that will be appropriately on St. Vincent de Paul, the patron of St. Vincent's. May this brief biography be an inspiration to all of us. St. Vincent was born in France in the year 1581. He was a simple shepherd boy on a farm. His parents were very poor, but they had a few oxen and a few sheep. However, Vincent had outstanding qualities. He was a great singer and he was very intelligent. And this was recognized by the local parish priest. And he thought that Vincent would make an excellent priest himself. And so he approached Vincent's parents, who were happy, but who said that they were extremely poor and could not afford an education for him. So, at the suggestion of the parish priest, they sold a couple of their sheep and a big ox, and so Vincent's education began. He once traveled by a ship, and unfortunately, that ship was attacked by pirate ships, and all the people uh, being slain left and right. Blood was just lying all over the board of the ship. Fortunately, Vincent and a few others were saved because they had wounds and they were lying down as if dead. But then they were sold into slavery. Vincent himself had three different masters, one worse than the other. They all put him down to very, very severe physical work. He had a terribly hard life. And at the end of it all, he was transformed from being a young, handsome, tall, strapping gentleman into a ri- weak man with wrinkled skin and browned completely by the sun. But at the end, he was eventually set free by a good man. And he learned a couple of lessons. He learned something about the plight of the slaves, and he learned about the value of freedom, something which the slaves did not have. So he made a firm decision that he would help the slaves and the poor from then onwards. But Vincent was so very generous and helpful to the poor that many people rallied around him. Many of the rich too, who though they may not have had a great love of the poor, still had a great love for Vincent, who had a capacity for making friends, and they left foodstuff and money at his doorstep. Some rich ladies, very especially, seeing Vincent's works of charity, came forward with much money and even with housing facilities. Soon, Vincent, seeing the opportunity, founded what was called eventually the Ladies of Charity Association. This association cared for the sick, cared for the poor, especially those in hospitals which were completely in a terrible shape. Unfortunately, war broke out in France. As a result, there was a big famine, and hundreds and even thousands died of hunger and of cold. Villages were burnt down, the people were starving to such an extent that they began to eat whatever was available, even their own animals, horses, dogs, cats, and you won't believe it, even rats. The continued service of the poor and the sick, right through the day and often late into the night, took a toll of Vincent, and he became very weak. He had now grown old. He was now in his 70s, and he had begun to use a walking stick. He would say to all the people around him, "My poor old legs will not allow me to rest by night or sleep by day." He suffered terribly from pains all over his body, but especially in his legs. But people always found him smiling, cheerful, and happy. And when they asked him why and how he could manage that, all that he would say is, "God is always close to me." This was the secret of his happiness. As he lay on his deathbed a few years later, he kept dreaming, often aloud, dreaming of those terrible days when he was a galley slave. Finally, he died in the year 1660 on the 27th of September. Vincent, by the end of his life, had founded three congregations. They are the Vincentian Fathers, the Daughters of Charity, and the St. Vincent de Paul Society. They're all active congregations even today. And the St. Vincent de Paul Society is quite active even in the city of Pune and has got several conferences over here. Vincent said very often, those who love the poor will meet death without fear. He met his death without fear. And this brings me to the end of this first capsule of mine. Dear friends, dear ex-students, dear ex-teachers and present staff members of St. Vincent's, I hope you have liked this first capsule of mine. And if you have, kindly hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell at the right side of that button named subscribe. I hope to see you in some future talks. I expect to give them occasionally, maybe once in a week, 10 days or so. And I hope to keep up this relationship with you. And as I said in the beginning, if I can be of a little help to people by inspiring them with talks and ideas to benefit society at the large context, then why not do so? Thank you for listening, and may God bless you.